Hey y'all, I'm Shayna and I'm back with another review. This is for Ready to Love season 7, but you know I like to say season 8 because I count that resort season, okay? Episode 7, Queens Don't Chase. And I thought this episode was pretty entertaining, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. Before we do, I said on my community page, I got into a car accident. I lost my job a few weeks ago, and now car accident this week. So there's just a lot going on. When it's like one thing after another, it gets overwhelming. So thank you to anyone who showed love or support or any type of concern. I appreciate you. Shout out to my subscribers. That have been consistent with me. And if you're new here and you enjoy this video, please watch it through, like the video, and subscribe because I'm trying to grow my channel. If you've been here before and you're not yet subscribed, at the end of the video, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy it, okay? So we pick up with Sue and Jeffrey going back and forth. Jeffrey wants to be left alone. Jeffrey, I like you, girl, but you started it. Like, Sue Ann was sitting there, you and Blake was going at it, and then you decided to mention Sue Ann. So, yeah, she's going to respond because you said her name. Like, you called her out, so she got something to say. Morgan in her confessional doesn't understand how Pick Me Sue believes anything Blake has to say, and neither do I. Clearly, okay, I guess it's not clear to everybody. It's subjective. It's your perspective, but I believe what Jeffrey said about Blake. So Tommy tells everyone, like, all right, let's diffuse the situation. It's getting hot and heavy. Let y'all just go ahead and eat. But it's somebody's last supper because two people, a man and a woman, are going to get eliminated tonight. I wouldn't have an appetite. Like, do the eliminations. No, I don't want to eat and wait and drag this out just to film. Like, let's get to it, okay? We've filmed enough. So, Audrey and Jeffrey are talking, and she says she hopes that he thinks she handled the situation with Blake and Sue with grace and poise because she doesn't like conflict. Really? Because it seemed like you don't mind going at it with Sue Ann, honestly. I wouldn't have nothing to say to the girl. Look, you going with Blake, I don't really care what y'all got going on, honestly. Morgan confronts Anthony and says he wants to be chased. And queens don't chase. And while I agree with that statement and those sentiments, no, queens don't chase. We don't chase. Honey, the man wants you, he gonna come get you, okay? She chased Tony. She chases Tony. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all can tussle down in the comments. Tony said last week to Marcia that Morgan is aggressive. She goes after what she wants. He likes to be chased. She does the chasing and don't even realize it, but talking about queens don't chase. I don't see him putting up that same energy. Speaking of Marcia, they're tag teaming Anthony at this point, and Marcia says he goes for low-hanging fruit. My phone was on vibrate. Sorry, y'all. Ooh, I had to pause. I had to cough. Anywho, I don't think he goes for low-hanging fruit. I don't think he has a problem speaking to women he's interested in because he didn't have a problem speaking to Cynthia. I mean, does he have like a really outgoing, vibrant personality? No, but I mean, he's talking to Cynthia with no problem. He was speaking to Mercedes with no problem. So I don't think he goes for low-hanging fruit. I just think if he's not interested, he's just not interested. So Lyndon and Joe are chatting, and Joe says she wonders how it feels to have a connection with someone that doesn't have a connection with you. And Lyndon said, yeah, about that. So Joe's like, you sound like that happened to you. So, he expresses what we already know, that he had Mercedes in his top. I don't know how, because I ain't really seen him talk or interact. But she was in his top, and she put him in the friend zone. Pretty much everybody puts you in the friend zone. And Morgan only got you out of the friend zone to make Tony jealous. Let's be clear. So, I would have liked to see Lyndon and Joe, where they would have had a connection, where it could have gone. Because it seems like they would be the more compatible two out of the options they have. But it's giving friendly vibes. So, I guess they just cool. Andre confronts Mercedes about why she didn't check on him when he was gone. And she said, out of sight, out of mind. What did you expect? She's on a dating show. You weren't on the show. there's nothing else to talk about. Yeah, she could have reached out and been like, "Hey, you okay?" But it's like you want her to have constant communication. And he said she was in his top. There's so much we don't see. That's why those like little selfie cams are needed because what's going on? Like, how was she in your top? We didn't even see them talk. And clearly, she moved on without a care. So were you in hers? So what was she supposed to do? Okay, seriously, like she had to move on. What you expect? So he was like, "Look, I see how she is, and I don't want nothing to do with her." Sir, she ain't want nothing to do with you when you left the show. So, touche. Tony and Morgan talk one on one, and she's being really possessive, and he's not your man. He's not your man. You being possessive over a man who is not yours. It's giving chasing a little bit, sis. It's giving chasing a little bit. It's giving kind of like vibes. Like I see why she's single. I'm all for being possessive, and that's my man. And if that's your man, he's not your man. He's single, and so are you. And y'all are on a dating show. There's a process. He has to get to know people. I don't really even know who are these people she's saying he's flirting with. Like, yeah, I guess in that moment, Jonique was there and Marcia, but it's not like every single woman wants Tony because they don't. I mean, calm down. He's yours. I think Marcia just talking to him because she don't got no other options. So her craziness turns him on and they share a kiss. Then it's time for the men to deliberate as well as the women. The women are having their own deliberation. A few men like Jeffrey, of course, because when Audra got out of there, she had to get her number strong, and she did. Blake and Sue both picked each other, and Sue said, they had a good conversation, and Blake sealed it with a kiss. Okay, and then the awkward silence of it all, because nobody cared. Like, no one said, even Tommy was like, crickets, silence, like, radio silence, nobody cared. She thought she was doing something that's not cute. We see you're being used. Jeffrey says she feels like Blake is using Sue for votes. Clearly, tell us something we don't know. Sue needs to find out on her own. She don't want to hear it. She don't want to believe it. She don't want to see it. She gonna find out. It's evident. But that bracelet won her over, so she's easily impressed. So, yeah. Tony says he and Morgan kissed not once, not twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, again and again. Tell me so. Y'all was making out at that point. Yeah, I guess you could call it that. That's what they've been doing. They kissing every time. Yep, you don't need to be flirting with nobody, and then they kiss. It's like, what else is going on? What else are y'all talking about? Linda said he and Morgan didn't kiss, but she's his piece. No, she's your only option. And you ain't fooling nobody. Not even yourself. Come on, now be real. She's the only one who's giving you any type of attention, and you don't want to get off the show. Tony seems a little threatened by Lyndon in his confessional. And a few ladies are saying they didn't like Blake. And why is Born Blake still here? I can understand if he was a producer playing it because, he was bringing drama. We're tired of that Jeffrey, Blake, and Sue-Ann triangle. Like, it's not interesting. It's not giving anything. He's boring. So there's no need to force him on the show. The ladies don't seem to like Mark Anthony. I'm surprised, but not surprised. Like, what they were saying is valid. Like, yeah, it's clear he's not serious. But, there's a few people, Jeffrey and Mercedes, to be exact, who are attracted to him. So I thought he had enough pull to not be in about him. Like, for me, Mercedes and Jeffrey like Mark Anthony. Only Sue-Ann likes Blake. So how is Mark Anthony in the bottom? Please explain. So the guys said they aren't feeling, because the ladies aren't feeling Mark Anthony. They're also not feeling Anthony. The guys said they're not feeling Sue and Joe. And Blake said Morgan wants children by any means. Like, he made it seem like she was just desperate to have a child. I don't remember her being like that desperate. But there's a few women on the show that want children. Like, you should know that there's going to be women who want children on the show. It happens every season. So why are you like signaling out Morgan? Like, you just saying that because Morgan says she don't like you. But none of them like him. Let's be clear. Anthony and Mark Anthony are up for elimination. The ladies use a second chance lifeline and save Mark Anthony. So both Anthony's are saved. He doesn't look relieved. He looks like he a little upset. Like, oh, okay, y'all got me in the bottom. Okay, look a little bit, look a little bit ruffled around the feathers. So Morgan is pissed. Not about saving Mark Anthony, but why did they even have to use a lifeline? Because why is Blake sitting his black head up there? That's what she upset about. So, and we too want to know, sis. We too want to, producers, come to the front and explain because we need answers. It's not giving anything. Like, I guess if you took Blake out of there, there wouldn't have been a whole bunch of drama. But, like, get rid of him and put in some new people that are worthy of being on the show. We know he ain't there for love. Joe and Sue are up, and Joe isn't surprised that she's up there. I'm not either, even though I don't. I wish that her person was there because I do like her, but I mean, I guess the men don't. So they eliminated Jonique. Someone, I think it was Lyndon, said sorry, but she handled it with grace, and she's like, "No, don't be. I'm ready to love. I'm just not ready to love y'all. Like my man is not here, and no, he's not." But, you know, as I looked at her Instagram page, she got her own thing going. She said she was a millionaire by 27. So, honey, you going to be all right, okay? Body look good. She's, you know, got her head on straight. She know what she want. And these men on here are just there to play games. So, Tommy said today was the last day for the second chance lifeline. They can't use it no more. So, the men can't use it. And they're just making up rules as they go. Because what? He could have even said, okay, if they would have said when he said there's a second chance lifeline this season, but you only have a certain amount of time to use it. We're not going to tell y'all when it expires. Just know it's going to expire at some point. Then fine. Maybe they would have used it too soon. Maybe they would have used it on the yacht party, on that old boat. I don't know when they would have used it, but at least it would have been like, okay, well, we know that we don't have forever and a day to use it. To just be like, oh, and that was the last day. Like, what? They just making up rules. So Cynthia's upset that they didn't use a lifeline for Joe, but I mean her man wasn't there. So, and Tommy said no eliminations this week. Yeah, because y'all just eliminated 2 people. I mean, that would be real heavy for 1 week. Sue-Ann has a date at Anthony's house, and his house looks nice from what we can see. But we're back to the cheap dates. Are we ready to love? If y'all been watching Ready to Love since season 1, like I have, especially that season when they was where was they at? Where was that season with that guy that was from New Orleans? Was it Houston? Nah. Dang, I can't remember where it was at. But there was one season where what was her name? It started with a V. And she was messing with Joelle. I think it was Houston. And they was every day, like, was at somebody's house. Like, what is this cheapness going on? Why are we constantly at somebody's house cooking? No, Ready Love. Y'all seasons in. Y'all got enough budget for these people to eat out. Okay? But, okay, we there. And his house is nice and clean. If it's not an Airbnb and that's his actual home, that's good. His mat said, B, don't wear no shoes in my house. I've been saying I want that mat. I want that mat so bad. But I don't want to, offend the saints. So that's why I ain't get it. But I want it. So she said, ooh, Anthony got a little thug in him. Anthony is a nurse practitioner. Like, say what now? Okay, I guess. I didn't pick that up, but okay. Mark Anthony. Well, let's just can we drop the Mark Anthony and just Mark, please? Too many Anthony's going on. So Mark and Jeffrey also have a date. Why? I cannot get past what Cynthia said. And Sue-Ann made mention of him not liking to date women with kids. So multiple people are saying he don't want a woman with kids. So why is he and Jeffrey going out like he clinging to Jeffrey just to stay in the game? And I don't like that. But I guess she need her numbers too. So I mean, I guess. But it seems like she really is attracted to him and actually likes him. And he's not for her. He's just not. So Anthony has Sue making a salad. Don't invite me over and offer to cook for me and have me cooking anything. Don't even have me pouring no glass of water. Like, I'm not, especially on the first date, and you offering to cook, and I'm pouring in salad dressing and stuff and croutons. I don't even like croutons. No, don't do it. That's why we need to be having our first date out at a restaurant, okay? So Sue asked if she on his list. I mean, you there, so because he could have got Mercedes or Cynthia, which is what he should have done. Maybe it wouldn't have been so boring. Anthony said, list of. Stop playing in our faces. You knew exactly what she meant. Stop playing these games. So Anthony confirms she's on his radar. And Sue says, okay, I'm not just making sure because you know it's a lot of good women. And he was like, yeah, some better than others. And then it was just a long pause, like extremely awkward silence. Like she was just eating her food. He was staring at her, eat her food. Like we could have cut this scene out. Like what is this? I don't know if he was like trying to hint that he thinks she's one that she's better than others. And that's what he was implying. It didn't land because she didn't pick up what he was trying to put down. If that was the case, I don't know what it is, but there is absolutely no chemistry whatsoever. So Jeffrey shared with Mark that she has Crohn's disease. And he's shocked because he don't have no idea what Crohn's disease is. I said, well, he looked like he was genuinely concerned, and you don't even have a clue. Like, yeah, he could have been like, okay, can you give me a little more detail? He could have, but I mean, I guess he was just figuring she was going to tell him or he was going to wing it. So, and when she said it at first, I was thinking, wasn't that what Missy had? But Missy Elliott had Graves' disease, not Crohn's disease. So, I was wrong on that. Crohn's disease is an inflammatory disease that affects your digestive system. So fortunately for him, Jeffrey gives details on her symptoms so he can pick up what it is. And Sue, back over there with Sue and Anthony, Sue and Anthony, she isn't feeling the connection. She was like, at the Hard Rock Cafe, I thought there was a vibe when we was dancing, but then you went back to like basically being in your shell and ignoring me. So he like, okay, well, we gonna dance today. Like, huh? Like, oh, tonight we shall dance. Like, he pulled her up to dance. Like, and then just that easily, like, he's back on her top. Like, y'all didn't talk about anything. She's talking about the start of the date was good, and the middle was kind of flat, and then it got good at the end. It was boring and terrible from start to finish. And now I see why they ain't really been showing Anthony like that. Anything impresses her. Like, anything. Like, she was better. She might as well went off of Lyndon, too. So, Mark asked Jeffrey how her kids handle her really hard days. And she's impressed by him asking that question. She thinks it's because he has concern about her kids. That didn't move me one bit. I'm not impressed by that at all. People know you have kids. They're just going to be like, okay, well, that's just like a natural question. That doesn't mean he has any real concern or care. Like, yeah, he was like, oh, you can be vulnerable with me. And, he was asking the right questions. But I literally would probably ask a stranger these questions. Like, that don't sway me. Like, and then all of a sudden he leaned in and gave this forced kiss, and it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. So Mercedes and Mark go on a date. They seem much more compatible, like way more compatible than he and Jeffrey, especially because they both want to be pilots. She's already a flight attendant, so it's just like cute, young puppy love. Tony and Morgan go on a date. And once again, she's complaining about him flirting. Who does she see him flirting with? Like, who? Who? Besides Marcia at this point. And he ain't even really much talking about her too much. So, Mark and Mercedes are flirting with each other. They're not having no, like, in-depth conversation where you would get to know somebody. Just a lot of flirtation and sexual innuendos. This might just be a fun, like, sexual type of relationship. Nothing long-term or serious. But I think that's all he wants anyway. That's all he signed up for. He wanted to get a little TV time and get what he can get out of it and go about his business. I don't think he's ready to settle down. Morgan mentions Lyndon attempting to make Tony jealous again, and I wish she would stop. Like, please stop. Please. Though he tries to act, I think Tony tries to act like it's not working. It is a little bit because every time he in the room and Tony mentioned Morgan, you can see that he is bothered by it. But, I mean, like, stop trying to do that. Like, he don't be bringing up Marcia, throwing her in your face. It's kind of giving, like, insecure a little bit. And I want you to feel the same insecurity that I feel when I bring up Lyndon. So Morgan, Mark and Mercedes give each other a passionate kiss. Now their kiss look more authentic and like a real passionate kiss, but he just going around kissing everybody. Okay, kissing two people in one episode. I wonder how Jeffrey gonna feel about when she watched that back. Morgan asks Tony how he feels about her. I mean, he says they look good together. Did he answer the question? How do you feel about me? We look good together. Where? Because I'd be like, but I asked how you felt about me. What are your feelings towards me? But I guess we'll never get an answer. Then Tony said, take what's yours. He want to be chased so bad. Like, he want to be chased so bad. He wants you to bring the flowers and, like, open the door and get on your knee and propose. And he want to wear the dress so bad. Like, my God. He wants to be courted. I'm just tired of their dates. Honestly, if I don't see no more for the rest of the season, I'm fine with it. None of these couples or these potential couples are doing it for me. Not one of them. Maybe Mercedes and Mark Anthony. And like I said, I don't think they go in the distance. But that's about it. Blake and Morgan meet. Finally, we get to what we really wanted to see. I have no idea why, but they meet. So Blake apologized, but he don't even know what he's apologizing for. And then Blake told her, because she's offended by his comments he made about her wanting children and basically tearing her down for wanting a family. Like, what in the world is wrong with wanting a family? Absolutely nothing. Just because you couldn't maintain one, Blake, doesn't mean you should try to stop somebody else's dreams. You're projecting, okay? And he told her, like, 80% of the things she wants, she's not going to have with kids. And she's like, why would you say that? And he's like, well, I'm a parent, and, you know, most parents won't understand that. And why, yes, it is harder. And even at times you might have to put some things on hold. That doesn't mean that it will just never be done. But more importantly, why did you have 3 kids? If you felt like that when you had the first child, why are you going to have 2 more? Okay, because the first one grown, I believe, from the first episode at the mixer. First one already grown about the way. Then you turn around, had 2 more, and they all got gaps in between. Like, why did you do that if you felt this way? But, and okay, whatever. So, you know, then she said, basically she just read him for filth, okay? She read him down to the ground, told him he's a cancer, he don't deserve to be there, these women deserve better than him, he's terrible. And he like, I don't care what you say, I'm here to stay. As you can see, I get through every single elimination and I'm still sitting here. So it don't really much matter what you think. I'm here to stay. And I'm like, dang. Did something like personal happen off camera between these two? Because she feeling real passionate. But we do also have to acknowledge she's saying what we're all thinking. He don't deserve to be there. Never did. Don't know why he's there. Him and Sue-Ann can go on about their business. Back in the day, when these 2 people ain't getting to know nobody else, they would have been off the show by now. So we don't know why they keeping him. He ain't doing nothing for us. Everybody was saying he was attractive. I never really even seen that, honestly. And I don't know if it's because his personality didn't do it for me. So, but I mean, he could have been gone. He should have gone at the mixer if we want to be all the way 100. But I'm glad that Morgan got him together. Will he go next week? Probably not. He probably won't. Who do I think will go next week? I think Lyndon will go next week because he don't really have no... Oh, no. Lyndon ain't going to go next week because I forgot when they stay at the... when they go to the little getaway, him and Tony get into it. So I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he will finally get up out of there. But let me know what y'all thinking down in the comments if you watch this episode. Again, don't hesitate to like and be sure to subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.